Good afternoon. I'll be talking about the large-scale exploration targets that we're drilling around Wiluna during the next 6 months, and also about the solid progress we've made on the sulphide redevelopment at Wiluna since the last RIU. This is our brand new sulphide concentrator for stage 1, which was commissioned in December. It's spitting out about 50 bags of concentrate every day, grading over 70 grams for sale to our offtake partners, Polymetal and Trafigura. So we're transforming Wiluna from 50,000 ounces of production from free milling sources last year to 120,000 ounces per annum when it's fully ramped up by the middle of this year. And we plan in stage 2 to double production again to over 200,000 ounces per annum from 2024. So Wiluna's got a long and checkered history of production, over 125 years, but Wiluna's best years are still ahead of it. The stage 1 concentrator is already operating above nameplate, and during the next few months we'll be ramping up the underground mine to hit that run rate, and also building and commissioning the tailings retreatment plant, which adds about 20,000 ounces of that total at good margins. And next month we'll publish updated reserves and a feasibility study for stage 2, which we expect will show a pathway to double production to over 200,000 ounces, which will place Wiluna among the top 10 Australian gold mines. And we've got fantastic exploration upside. During the next 6 months, we're testing 9 large-scale targets around the Wiluna mine. So stage 1 is well advanced, and stage 2, subject to the feasibility study, we see that doubling production to over 200,000 ounces per annum. And to do that, we simply build a carbon copy of the stage 1 concentrator right next door, and we build a new crushing and grinding front end to meet the expanded output from the underground mine, which means that the existing crushing and grinding and the existing CIP circuit is available again to also process free milling ore, which can add another 80,000 ounces of production on top of the 200,000 ounces of sulphides production in stage 2. And in the long term, we envisage a pressure oxidation plant built on site at Wiluna, which will further lower operating costs and add scale. Wiluna is located right at the northern tip of the Norseman-Wiluna Greenstone Belt, which is the biggest gold belt in WA, which also hosts Kalgoorlie. And we've got 1,600 square kilometres of this blue chip real estate. It's a fantastic piece of ground to go and explore in. Some happy snaps of the first bags of con. We've invested $188 million in the last 18 months in the sulphide concentrator, in redeveloping the underground mine, and we've invested $26 million just in exploration in the last financial year, which will continue over the long term to really do justice to an ore body of this scale. And the bottom right pic there is of Polymetal's pressure vessel, which they're installing, and will come online in 2024 to coincide with our stage 2 expansion. Polymetal identified Wiluna as the best project globally to provide significant volumes of concentrate to feed their pressure oxidation plants. Moving on to the geology and exploration. In the last 2 years, we've been busy. We've drilled 178,000 metres at Wiluna, which is a massive drill out by any standard. The resource is now 4.5 million ounces. And we increased the measured and indicated portion of the resource last year by a further 20%, which supports the reserves update and the feasibility study that's coming out next month. In addition to Wiluna, we've got the other important mining centres of Lake Way, Matilda and Galaxy, and the regional gold exploration. And on top of that, we have historical high-grade nickel discovery, which is just begging for more drilling, and grassroots lithium exploration kicking off as well. But I won't have time to talk about those today. The resource update at Wiluna, the measured and indicated portion is now 60%, and together with the other mining centres and the significant tailings resource which is available for retreatment, we've got over 5.5 million ounces. There's a lot of high-grade gold at Wiluna. If the underground resource is quoted above 2.3 grams, but if you use a 3.5 gram cutoff, there's still over 3 million ounces at 5.8. And if you select a higher cutoff, there's over 2 million ounces at over 7 grams. There's a lot of high-grade gold. We've consistently published high-grade and thick intercepts as we've infill drilled the inferred areas around the Wiluna mine over the last 2 years. And it's amazing what's been left behind. We've been drilling the high-grade sulphide chutes underneath the open pits and close to the underground access to lower the cost per ounce developed. Now the focus is shifted more to exploration around the Wiluna mine. So we're testing 9 large-scale targets in the upper 600 metres and down to 1,500 metres. And we're targeting high-grade and large chutes, similar to the other ones we know about. Bulletin, for example, is 1.5 million ounces at 7 grams. That's the current resource plus past production. The East Lode endowment was 2 million ounces at 5 grams, and West Lode is 1.5 million ounces at 6 grams. So if any one of these 9 targets come in, that's going to move the dial for us. Wiluna is a giant gold system. The gold endowment is 15,000 ounces per vertical metre, and there's a close correlation with the amount of drilling and that gold endowment. So we expect that as we continue to infill drill and drill along strike and at depth, we're going to continue to grow that endowment. For example, the east and west lodes on the right-hand side, there's a 3.5 million ounce endowment in the upper 700 metres. And the seismic survey that we completed last year shows that the gold structures just keep on going. And the resource is open at depth, and we'll be drilling the deepest holes ever at Wiluna, hoping for a repeat of that 3.5 million ounces in the next 700 metres. The seismic survey that we completed last year, 2D seismic lines, this is a rough interp. It showed 3 things: that the seismic method works, so we're going to move to a full 3D survey over the whole mine site to define drilling targets. And it showed that the gold structures just keep on going at depth. So the 10 million ounces of Wiluna is in the small white box on the left. And we identified an intriguing set of structures which are conveniently located underneath the processing plant and the tailings dams in the camp, where there's only been some shallow sterilisation drilling in the past. So to drill the deeper parts of the east and west lodes, we have to sit the rig so far over to the east, and we're actually going to be drilling around the process plant site to get deep enough that we're going to test some of these structures on the way down. Stepping out in scale again, regen is a similar style of deposit, same style of mineralisation, and the Wiluna deposit in the top box there, it's hosted along the north-south faults, and you can see the offsets in the aeromag image. And there's a similar set of north-south faults and structural complexity in the regen area. But the whole area is concealed under calcrete cover, which has prevented exploration in the past. So it's open in all directions along strike. There's some really sweet intercepts in the sulphides, and we're going to be scoping that out with further drilling. It's got the potential to be a very large system like Wiluna. So in summary, we've got a very large and high-grade gold resource which is growing, and we have a very straightforward staged plan to double production by the middle of this year and to double it again over the medium term. And the success that we've had with drilling over the last 2 years and with executing the stage 1 plan gives us confidence that Wiluna is going to be one of the top 10 gold mines in Australia. Thank you.